Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. My name is Ojone. If you're new here, you are more than welcome. Today we are going to be answering a very much asked question. I believe this, apart from the healthcare questions, this question has recorded on my channel more times than I can count. And it has taken me quite a while to get someone who is knowledgeable enough to be able to answer these questions because I do not have all the answers myself. So today we have a very special guest in the house and she will do her own introduction. You might just want to save this video and play it back for your reference later on. Let's get to meet our guest for today. She needs no further introduction. She is a very popular YouTuber here on the YouTube community and she will introduce herself to you.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm sure you know me already. My name is Faith Ojone and I am pleased to be here to answer all your questions. And also, I am not an immigration lawyer or do I work with the Home Office, but these are information that is out there publicly on gov.uk. And also, I've read a lot of stories and have some personal experience with this. So I'll share what I know and I hope it will be helpful.
Thank you, Faith, for joining us on the channel today. Today's video has been highly requested and like I said before, it has occurred more times than I can count. And I'm sure people are very curious, especially with, you know, immigrants coming in from different parts of the world with children and relocating with young dependents, especially children who are, you know, under the age of 5, 10, some even giving birth here in the UK. And people want to know what is the pathway to people coming into the UK with young children or people who give birth here in the UK. What is the path to getting an ILR, which is otherwise known as the indefinite leave to remain, through the British-born child or a child who has stayed in the UK? To answer the very first question, because I know this is a very loaded question.
Yeah.
For people who are coming into the UK with young children, what is the pathway?
Okay, so I'll start from the beginning. The UK does not grant citizenship by birth. So the only way you can stay back in the UK is two ways that I'm very aware of. So it's either you have a child for a British citizen or for someone who already have indefinite leave to remain, permission to live in the UK permanently, then your child will be issued citizenship. So if your child is a British citizen, you can then apply for a family visa. So that visa is called a family visa. So if you've been on gov.uk and you've been seeing Appendix FM is the family visa route. So a family visa allows parents of a young child to apply through them to get permanent stay in the UK and even become citizens themselves. And it can also allow children to come under their parent to live permanently in the UK. So let's say, for example, I'm in the UK and I get my permanent residency and I had a child back in Nigeria that I did not bring. Then I can then file for my child to come to the UK under family visa. But again, the child has to be 18 years and below. So any child above 18 years does not apply. Yeah, it does not qualify. So let's say you're coming to the UK to visit or to study and you have your child here. Your child will qualify for British citizenship when they turn 7. So it's a 7-year gap. So that's to say you have to be living in the UK for 7 years. So sometimes it might be hard for you, depending on your visa situation. If you're on a skilled worker visa, you can always renew and you can switch to other visa, but your child has to be 7 years for you to file. So if you're on a legal visa, like if you're on a visa that allows you to stay in the UK continuously after renewing, after 5 years, you personally can apply. But let's say situation happened and you overstayed in the UK, you do not have legal stay in the UK anymore, you're an overstayer, but you give birth to your child in the UK. If your child is 7 years old, so if you're able to remain in the UK for 7 years, your child can file for citizenship, because the government feel like this child has been living here for 7 years. They've integrated into the society. They are used to the UK. The UK
Yeah.
is all they know. So removing the child from the UK will be unfair. So they usually, and trust me, anything children, they don't joke with it. They take kids
Yeah.
very seriously. You know, the no recourse to public funds. I know most people have it on their visa, but it's how your situation will be. And if it includes a child, you can apply for government to remove that restrictions on your visa, and they will do it. Another way is, if let's say you come to the UK on a visitor's visa. There's actually a story which I'll talk about very soon. Or in fact, let me talk about it now. So
All
this
right.
lady, she's from Brazil. She came to the UK on a visitor's visa. When she came, she got pregnant. When she got pregnant, she couldn't go back again because she was heavily pregnant. That's the story they said. The person she gave birth for was a British citizen, of course.
All right.
When she gave birth, she couldn't go back because of the COVID. You know, during the lockdown,
Yeah.
no flights, no travel. So she overstayed her visa. So now that COVID is off, everything is done, the government, the UK government found her and they want to deport her back to Brazil. So when she got pregnant and told the guy she was pregnant, he ran away and she never saw him again. So when she gave birth, she couldn't find the guy to put his name on her son's birth certificate. So that means they could not issue that child citizenship. So
Okay.
normally, if you give birth to a British citizen in the UK, the child automatically gets the British passport. So you can just, the father will present his passport showing that he has either
The
ILR
legal stay.
or citizenship. Then they can now, you can send it, then the government will now file for that child. The child will get their passport. I think it's within 1 week because I know someone who have done it.
Okay.
So because the father of the child did not put his name on the birth certificate and did not claim that child is like a stateless person. Stateless because the mom is not in Brazil, so the child cannot get Brazil citizenship and he could
Yeah.
not get UK citizenship. So
Yeah.
he's like a stateless
Limbo.
person until the
Yes.
child, until the mom or the father file for the child's citizen. So the government is saying that they're going to remove her from the UK because her child is not a citizen and she is not a citizen, which is very, because she gave birth to the child here. But if she was able to stay in the UK for 7 years, because the child is 3 year, I think it's 2 year old now, if she was able to
Okay.
stay in the UK for another 5 years, she can then automatically file for that child because he has lived in the UK all his life. So UK has a law called the Human Rights Protection, which
Mhm.
means that you cannot separate family. That is why you see
Yeah.
most people always get it. You cannot
Yes.
separate a mother from
From her child.
from their child. So, like, except the mother is dangerous to that child before you can separate them. So
Mm-hmm.
if the mother does not have rights to stay in the UK, you have to consider that child and give the mother rights to stay, because the child was born here and the child does not have any other life aside from the UK, because obviously the child has not traveled out of the UK.
Out
So
of the
removing
country.
the child from the UK, you don't know what is awaiting them in the country they are going to, which is against the human rights. So
Mm-hmm.
that's a very, very strong law that the UK do
Okay.
not play with. So
So just to probe a little further, when you were citing the example of the Brazilian lady, what became of the child? Because you were saying that the UK was threatening to deport the mother, but what was going to become of the child?
yeah, so because the child is not British, they did not register the child as British. The father did not claim the child. They just assumed that child is not British. So even though the child's dad is British, but there's no proof, here they work with documentation. They
Yeah.
don't believe in word of mouth. So if you're saying anything, you have to back it up with documentation. So there was
Yeah.
no proof that that child is a British citizen.
Citizen
So they are deporting both the mother and the child. And
and
because
the
the child
child.
has not been in the UK for 7 years, they feel like he can still adapt when he moves to the next country. Usually, the permission is for 10 years. If you're filing for permission to stay in the UK under the family visa, it's 10 years. You have to spend 10 years in the UK, as that's the mom, the parents,
Okay.
before you can apply for ILR. But you can get 5 years if you do not access public funds. So they have two
Okay.
type of category that they give family visa. So they have the 5 years route and the 10 years route. The 5 years route will not give you access to public funds. So you will not have
Okay.
recourse to public
So
funds.
all the funds, yeah.
Then after 5 years, you can apply for indefinite leave to remain. And then after 1 year, you can apply for your citizenship. Then the 10 years route, when you apply for that, you will have access to public funds. You'll be able to access child benefits, job seeker tax, allowance,
All right.
all the benefits that the UK government, you can have access to it. But you cannot apply for indefinite leave to remain until after 10
10
years.
years.
So
All right.
if they
So with
give
the
you,
5 years, do they give them like right to work? Or are they allowed to
yeah,
work? Yeah.
yeah, you can work, you can start a business, you can literally do anything you want, but you cannot
Okay.
have access to public funds. But if
All
you
right.
break it, maybe you got 5 years route and you sneak, you go and take public funds, because the visa is renewable. They don't just
Mm.
give you straight 10 years, they give you two
All right.
years. So you have to be
Oh, okay.
renewing it every 2 years.
And with the 5 years,
Yeah, you have to renew.
so
Similar to fiancé visa as well, because it's still
okay.
family visa. Like if,
Mm-hmm.
for
Spousal
example,
visa.
yeah, spousal is similar. It's under the family visa. So if you marry a British citizen, and when you get to the UK, you apply for the spousal visa. If he is a British citizen, when you get married to him, you will get 2 years. Sometimes I think 2.5 years, 2.5 years, or 2 years visa. Then you'll be renewing it every 2 years until you stay.
See,
So you still need to write IELTS, but
IELTS.
not all of them. I think you only write listening and reading.
Okay.
Yeah, you write IELTS, so you only write the two, listening and reading. You don't have to do the remaining two. And what else? You still have to pay immigration surcharge.
For the spousal, the family visa.
Yeah, the family visa. You need to always show them that you are still a good citizen, you're still good, you're not doing anything wrong, because when you renew, they will still ask some question for renewal. So they just want to see that you kept a good character all the
Yeah.
way through your 10 years. But most people would prefer to go for 5 years and stay away from public funds so that they can
Yeah.
quickly become a citizen
Settle.
and be free from renewing visa every 2 years, which is,
Mm.
I don't know. Again, immigration rules changes all the time. I'm sure you
Yeah.
guys are used to the UK government
Yes.
changing things
Yes.
up and
Like
down.
the weather.
So
Mm.
yeah. So I don't know when you're watching this video, but you need to be checking the gov.uk to see if there's any changes, because
Okay.
there's a lot of changes to family visa now. So many things they are changing to family visa. So you can check it out and yeah, stay updated.
So one more question is regarding the time frame for the child. You were talking about for the ILR, if you were to have a child born here in the UK, either born by a British citizen, or you gave birth to the child here, or you brought the child from another country, you said that there's a 7-year gap. Now, within that 7-year gap, if you were to say take that child out of the UK, maybe to go visit their grandparents back home, or just to go on vacation outside the country, what's the time limit to be outside the UK, so that you do not lose the opportunity to qualify for the?
So first of all, if you are going to use the 7 years to get a visa through your child, I think most visa allows you to still leave the UK for 180 days, minimum of 180 days, so you don't lose
180 days minimum.
Yeah, so you don't lose it. But if you're on a valid visa that allows you to stay in the UK legally, then you would achieve that aim in 5 years. That's if the visa allows you to get ILR in 5 years, but I know student visa does not. So for student visa, you have to be studying. I feel like the only way you can stay in the UK for 7 years to apply for that child visa, to apply for family visa, is if you do not have legal stay. Maybe you're an overstayer. That means when you're an overstayer, you can't travel out of the UK or anywhere. So you have to remain in the UK, and after 7 years you can apply. But if you are living in the UK on a legal visa, let's say, because visitors visa cannot let you stay for 7 years, it's only 6 months, you have to go back. Skilled worker visa, you can renew it every 3 years, and after 5 years you apply for your ILR. Then
The
family
study.
visa and spousal visa. That's the one, is the family visa, which you can renew, and you have to be married to a citizen to get that. So for the child, that one, I'm going to be honest, most people that apply through their children is
People
overstayers.
who
Most.
overstayed, yes. Thank you so much, Faith, for coming on the channel today and giving us your
Oh,
honest
thank
opinion
you
on the
for
matter.
having me.
And you've really broken this down, and I believe everybody understands this right now. So if you have further questions, Faith will be in the comment section. She has a YouTube channel herself. She has tons of resources on her channel. Please do want to go over there, stop by, and feed your eyes on the wide range of information that she has on there. She doesn't only talk about the UK, she talks about Canada, she talks about New Zealand. It's a very diverse place to get different kinds of information on different kinds of countries. So do yourself good to stop by her channel and update yourself. Thank you so much, Faith, for
Thank you,
stopping
Tola,
by.
for having me.
So if you found anything of value in this video today, please do want to give it a huge thumbs up. It does a lot to help my analytics and also get other people to see this video. Leave your comment in the comment section. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. And I will see you guys in the next one.
Bye.